Hi guys, it's Sunday. I'm just back from church. No, not really. I just felt like doing a video, and as usual, it's like a tug of war, like a strange fluctuation, because and this feeds excuse me a bit, lost my voice a bit. This feeds right into the topic I want to talk about, because I'm sat obviously at a window and I'm looking out, and it looks like it's, I don't know, October, November. There was mist everywhere, fog, weird fog, and everything really feels so strange, so eerie, so fuguey. I've made notes because I am literally so. It's chaos, guys. It's chaos. It's absolute chaos, and so many of us are becoming aware of this element of life that is vicarious. You know, before the so-called internet, people would go to libraries and read books, or you know, people would know people who would know people who would know people, and that's how information was passed on. And I'm not saying that meant it was all true or whatever, but it's as if we've entered a whole other world. It's as if we've left an organic experience, an organic reality behind, bit by bit by bit, and entered a simulation bit by bit by bit. Reality, laughingly referred to as reality, is no longer a seamless sense-making experience. It's now disjointed, distorted. Like, it's like somebody's taken a million different jigsaws, chucked bits from every jigsaw, like, and chucked them in a great big pot, and then shook them, and then took like whatever random bits and just stuck them together and said, right, that's the picture. And you look at it and you think, but that's what the fuck, that doesn't make any sense. And it's like, yeah, it does, and that's the truth, and that's how it is, and that's how it works. Like, it's obvious that it's complete insanity, chaos, doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and yet they're still busy trying to mundane reality reinforce it all, telling us that no, right, that whole cognitive dissonance that we all feel. 10 years ago, I think, maybe even more, possibly even more, I became aware of what's now commonly referred to by the collective as the Mandela Effect. I didn't know then what it was called. I just became aware. Like, I was walking down the road and I saw a door and it was blue. Previously, that door had been red. I knew that beyond any doubt. And I could tell that the paint was old and chipped. So that door had been blue for quite some time, yet it had been red before, and so forth and so on. And I began to notice it more and more and more. At the time, I called it the reset. Because, you know, and then I came across the virtual term of the Mandela Effect and all these virtual people, because how do you know that what you're dealing with when you're watching a video online or anything at all, right? That this is a real organic human being. You don't know that unless you have really good intuition. I do, and I feel, but not always. Sometimes I'm wrong. It's as simple as that. But with real souled beings who are in this world, right? I can feel them. I can feel their soul. I can feel their life force, as it were, right? But there's a lot of so-called people there that populate that thing called the internet that are not sold, and there's no life force. Anyway, yeah, the Mandela effect, and it was very discombobulating, and you know it's been ramped up massively, since the PSYOP 5 years ago, even more so. It's as if what I see, feel, sense more than anything is that we are dealing with two intersecting worlds. One is dead. It's made up of trust the science and that sort of thing. You know, it's like scientists that completely do not get meaning, divinity, intuition, synchronicity, emotional resonance, you know, all of that. They don't get it at all. They're dead, right? Oh, it means nothing. To them, nothing has any meaning. It's all random and it's dead. It's just like home improvement, fitted kitchens, plastic grass, all that shit. And then you do get like there is a guy called Rupert Sheldrake. He's an English scientist, and he's brilliant. He knows about meaning, you see. The Hunter's monkey effect and all this type of thing. It's very interesting. But it's as if the dead world, which is like a simulation, it is Fibonacci based and so forth and so on, it's repetitive, limited, dead. It is not creative, it cannot create, it can only repeat. It's at some point it's like a kind of terraforming, you know, and the world that we now experience around us, and why we're in so much pain, that is those of us who are truly awake feel that pain, because we can see what the dead world, what it's done. Oh, it's appalling, it's horrifying. All the horrible housing developments, all the horrible, I mean, all these people, it's where are all these people coming from? You live in a town that a couple of years back had a population of, say, 80,000, all of a sudden it's got a population of 180,000. They're all NPCs. They have no life force. What they do often exhibit is this mean-spirited, peevish attitude. You know, you ask them, they say they're a shop assistant, and you ask them something and they just pretend to ignore you. You know, they're surly, they have an attitude. They have an attitude because they're jealous, they're envious, because they're not alive, they're dead. And so they're dealing with a soul being. It's not something that I don't go on about it because I aim to get people to be antagonistic, because that is exactly what I do not want. That is what the world, the simulation that they belong to wants. It is a consciousness of a kind, but it is a dead consciousness. one of my subscribers mentioned a Voyager episode, called The Thaw. It's a very good episode to watch because it's very indicative of something. It wants to live. It is an external manifestation of a consciousness malfunction, and it's a paradoxicality type of thing, because you can if consciousness is the arbiter of everything we behold and experience, and we experience a dual consciousness, good and evil, by design, because we decided to create a certain type of experience, and it's all gone a bit wrong, and then you have a load of these people who are very much under the influence of something dark, telling them that it's all a mistake, you're trapped here for good, it's a soul trap, it's this, it's that. It's a paradox. It can be both. It can be a soul trap, it can be we got it all wrong, and at the same time we meant to do this and we got it all right and it's going to be okay, you see. But most people have trouble with paradoxicality. They need to think in black and white because it is part of the trauma-based mind control, mundane reality reinforcement thing. It isn't fluid. It's quite stupid. Trauma makes you stupid. It really does. So, consciousness. See, what lies at the very, very heart of it is this: self-hate, dead, simulation, hellish, nightmarish, garbagey, horrible nightmare life world. Self-love, knowing your innate valuableness, your innate preciousness as an infinite being of light and love, that which giveth life, that which is alive. Synchronicity, the maverick effect, how it, have you noticed how it guides you, how it speaks to you, how things have a way of working out. There is, yes, a coexistence, a precarious, weird coexistence, interaction of evil and good, light and dark. But we are now in the time of the parable of the wheat and the tares, right? It's separating and evil is revealing itself. I was given this 5 years ago in a vision. I knew it was going to happen, and this is what we are seeing. The Mandela effect is a natural, it's a natural organic thing. It's very natural. I think we are the generators of it. And when you really practice presence, you will find that there is often a correlation between things you were thinking and feeling and dreaming that then show up, that you experience, etc. Now, if you've done your inner work and you are aware of the dark side within you, but also externally that comes in, like psychic attack, nastiness, which I've spoken about in many of my videos. It's an overlap often enough. It needs, for it to create that which is evil, the dark side of duality, and there's a lot of that now because it's being purged. It needs for you, for me, for soul beings to believe something for it to be true. So, if you believe that, I don't know, eating sugar is bad for you, if you really believe that, it will be bad for you. If you believe that World War III is going to happen, and you really believe that, and you buy into all the fear porn, it will be so. If consciousness creates reality, then how does evil create it? When it can't create, it creates through us, but it needs for us to acquiesce with it. We cannot do any other way. It's kind of less creating, more a case of distorting and harming and, well, hurting and sickening and destroying. And if evil had all the power, none of this would exist. I would not exist, because obviously I'm a being of light. You are a being of light. It's been an experience that is coming to an end. It does feel like that. It's taking forever, I know. The Mandela Effect, which is really a crap name for it, but it's happening more now than ever before. And there's a shitload of soul beings out there, normies, having these types of experiences, where they go to a restaurant and all of a sudden it's owned by a very different set of people, and the whole story is different. It's like you get vortex points throughout reality, where the Mandela Effect is like, because it isn't from day to day, it can be from moment to moment. I've walked down roads where it's literally, I have felt the effect. I have been Mandela affected, because it's like, whoa, things look different all of a sudden, just like that. Moment to moment, seconds, boom. It's happened many times. And perhaps when we are present and aware of what we were thinking or feeling at any particular moment. See, the thing is, you watch TV, you watch movies, you read books, you're being force-fed duality stories. Like, back in the 80s and the 90s, nobody thought anything of watching a murder mystery. And nobody thought anything of it, right? Let's watch this film, it's about this, or let's film about a serial killer or whatever, you know, the NPC killer. And people were having fun, sold people were having fun in the 80s. We were having fun in the 90s. I was having fun in the 90s. That fun began to dwindle in the 2000s. It's gone now. It's gone. It's completely gone. The resets have turned this place into what it is now, and it is a hellish eyesore. Yes, I mean, this morning I went out for a bit. I saw deer, I saw some really beautiful birds. There's a lot of goodness, but I saw a lot of evil, and there was a lot of weirdness. When I see the sheep on the moors with red and paint on them, blue paint on them, indicating to which farmer they belong, on their way to the slaughterhouses. I mean, it's evil. This world is infected because it's like, well, why can't things just be okay, just like that? Why should we have to go through this process of, right? Because I know a lot of us are really suffering. We are suffering. It's absolutely appalling. I come across a hell of a lot of videos by people that I feel, life force, doing videos about how they don't want to pay to live anymore, how their food doesn't taste of anything, how they're unable to sleep, how they're having all these weird Mandela effects, how everything is strange and weird and nothing makes any sense. People talk about split skies, where one half of the sky is like there's a thunderstorm and it's dark, and the other side is like it's sunny and there's a rainbow. There's only half a rainbow and it cuts off right in the middle. People are waking up. Soul beings are waking up, and there's also a lot of soul beings that are not waking up at all, and they're oblivious, and you can point out all the trails in the sky, you can point this out, and it's not that, you know, the soul, but it's not happening. And I know this is what I call boarding gates, different directions, going to different places, divergent paths, which eventually will all come back together again, I feel, you know. But this is it, consciousness, it's always been consciousness, but we've been mundane reality, mind controlled, and so the true nature of reality is something that we find virtually impossible to compute. No, that's weird, that doesn't make sense, what are you on about? Whoa. And because it's this is reality. It's bricks and mortar, and yeah. This is just the way it is. That's just the way it is. You live and then you die, and then you something happens. I don't know what. I don't want to think about it. Let me dissociate from all the fucking trauma, because the trauma is very severe. It's very extensive. I mean, death. Why should we die? What the fuck? Old age. What the fuck? Disease, cancer, losing your loved ones. Right? Dementia, Alzheimer's, lies, war, gaslighting, nastiness. We were very good at dissociating in the 80s and the 70s and the 90s, and we were having fun, and it was all right. That dissociation factor, it's out the window, guys, and we see it now and we know it. And it's not just about knowing it with your mind, it's feeling it in your heart, in your gut, when you're lying awake at night, wondering how much more you can take or not, right? When the fucking demonic energies are at you, telling you that you are a worthless piece of shit and you're garbage and you deserve to suffer, and nothing is ever going to be alright, and this is all there is, you know, and evil always wins, you know. See, evil needs for us to remain in that state of self-attack, self-hate, and believing that things are not okay, believing that glyphosate weed killer is going to kill us all, believing that bad things are going to happen, believing that there's something wrong, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, because it will do. This is what it does. It's a barrage every day of this is going to happen, that's going to go wrong, that's going to happen, you know, threats. You're being threatened and bullied by it every day, and you're used to believing it. You weren't even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, you weren't aware of what was going on. All that was happening on an unconscious level. Now you can hear it, you see it, you know what's going on. But when you're clearing that trauma-based mind control, the self-hate, the rage, the self-attack, you're doing a lot of screen purges and whatnot, exponentially the light grows stronger, and you start to become aware that I am the light. You can feel your crystalline light, you can feel yourself, your soul, you can feel that you are starting to be able to see what's going on and say, but I don't believe that, and if I don't believe it's true, it has no power anymore. But for that, something intrinsic has to take place within. It's this innate knowing of our valuableness. Can you feel your self-love? Can you feel and know? And I don't mean this on a mental plane. because that means nothing. That's generally where it begins, like a foggy awareness of, oh wow, yeah. But no, a knowing that you are infinite, that you are valuable beyond measure. There is no beginning to your value and there's no end to your value. You always were valuable, you always will be valuable, you always are innately, infinitely valuable, precious, purposeful, light of love, creativity, beauty, goodness. Yes, that. All that lives within us, souled beings. It is what we are. And it's the remembering of that. So that when the attacks come, and they come hard and fast now, I know. And when when you feel totally bewildered because the world keeps changing and shifting, and it's like, yeah, but it was like that, and they were going to do that in May, and now it hasn't happened, and it's over there, and you've been totally Mandela affected, and you don't know what the fuck is going on, and you've got this evil always says there's nothing you can do, and you're a worthless piece of shit, and you feel all that grief. And you feel helpless, and you feel powerless, and you feel rage, and you're lying awake, and you can't eat, and it's this, and it's that, and it's and it's that, and you're sick, and you're worried, and you're terrified. You can say, can I feel my light? Can I feel my light? And you can feel it, and you can come back, you can tune in, and be in your light, where that panic begins to subside, and some common high sense comes back to you, to your soul, and gives you some peace, and you realize, whoa, yeah, I don't need to acquiesce with that demonic filth anymore. See? You disempower it, and that's why it's so angry, you see? It's all about knowing our value, knowing that we are infinite beings of love, of goodness, of value, that we are not these worthless pieces of shit. No. See that, what was once a cohesive, weird, paradoxical duality type of toothpaste is now there. Evil, we see it for what it is, it's horrifying, and what it's done to this world, and it's a dead simulation-like invasion of the organic world that is generated by the light, the true self, the consciousness of the soul. Yeah? And we see it, and it hurts terribly, I know, but it is what affects us in such a way that it brings up and purges out of us that sickness which creates it in the first place. Yeah. And it's another thing I've noticed as well. Rather than going around and feeling this hatred towards the NPC-ish people, I've noticed something. Yeah, you get the ones that okay, so you know, at the beginning of, the PSYOP, we had a lot of people talking on the screens, telling us how we should behave, and you know, and queue and do this and do that and blah blah. And quite a few of them were demons. Their eyes were red, not just their iris, but their entire. They were demonic entities. It was very clear to me. Demons like to take the form of hideous looking people, often really, really grotesquely overweight or just really weird looking. they often have black eyes or red eyes. And I noticed that. And since then, I've come across people that were not people, but that were basically demonic entities, right? You also get the Agent Smith syndrome, where you are dealing with a person that is sold and it's great and it's this and it's that. And then you meet them a week later and it's a very different kettle of fish, and you say something that triggers something in them, and there we have Agent Smith. Very strange. You meet different versions of people. Some are sold, some are not. It's like a neighbour of mine has gone full psychotic. And I know she's not, that version of her is not sold. Because it's like, why do you keep all your windows shut all the time? Why are you abusing your children all of a sudden? There's all kinds of weird shit going on. And again, this is very Mandela, right? Because 3 months ago, she wasn't like that. It was a very different person. And in 2 weeks from now, she might be like that, or this, or there. It's very confusing. Some NPCs are... they serve evil, they serve the dark side, they can be downloaded into. Yes, true. Some of them are neither here nor there. They're just kind of like background characters. And then you get NPCs, and they're a bit like the Oracle from the Matrix. They serve the light. I've noticed this as well. It's a weird experience now, guys, and we navigate it as best we can, given whatever level we're on, right? It is utterly discombobulating. I know that. But I feel that it is somehow correct for it to be a process, a journey, a completion, a conclusion. That which is evil needs to be drawn out. It cannot just be gone and, oh well, here we are and everything is okay again. This is an experience. I personally feel we chose our own free will to create an experience, and it's had merit. We've had fun. Yes, we've experienced loss, we've experienced death, we've experienced torture, we've experienced all kinds of fucking stuff, man. It's like, I remember a life where I think it was Russia, where there's me and a group of people that oppose the Orthodox Church. We don't like the Orthodox Church. It's corrupt, the priests are evil, and so forth and so on. And we leave the city and we end up moving to some place in the middle of nowhere and set up some sort of settlement, and the minions of the church come looking for us, and they just basically murder us all, and it's really horrible. I've had lives that were good, where I experienced a lot of goodness, a lot of love. I've had lives where I experienced mayhem and hell on wheels and everything in between, right? I'm not saying I had those experiences. I'm not saying I didn't. I'm not saying it's linear, because I don't believe it is. You see, nothing is linear. This thing we call reality is not at all. We were trauma-based, mind-controlled, mundane reality reinforced to believe. This is why there is so much cognitive dissonance and resistance and confusion and discombobulation going on. There is this part of you that let's just stay there and be afraid it's safe that way. No, it isn't. Because there you believe all the lies of the dark side, and thus it becomes real, it manifests. It is not as simple as that, because we're dealing with a mass consciousness as well. Remember, the ether, Gaia, all souls are connected. We are all interconnected and interdependent in a way. So what happens to one soul being reverberates throughout everything. It's like water, you know, we are all connected, but we can step into our light and we can disempower the darkness. I choose self-love because that is an act of self-love, and it's the hardest thing ever. I know it takes great focus and it takes practice, and it's a choice that I will continue to make because I have nothing to gain from allowing evil to abuse me and use my consciousness to subjugate my consciousness brutally so that it can hurt, harm, destroy and stay in control. Can't have that. Can't have that. It's a sickness, you see. It is a sickness. Self-hate lies at the heart of it. Self-love and knowing your innate worth and value is what it's all about. Can you feel your light? Be in that light. Let that panic subside a little bit. Start to see through. Ah, yes, okay. The light, your true self, will talk to you, it will communicate with you, it will do this in a really weird, wonderful, peculiar way. I call it the Maverick effect. You can go say on YouTube or whatever, and there's a video that's clearly false light, full of shit, and yet there is something in it, I call these pearls, that's meant for you, and that will support you and help you there and give you something that you need in that moment, right? Boom. Everything else is to be discarded. There's signs, there's symbols, there's smells, there are nuances everywhere that love you, that support you, that are there for you. And of course, the opposite is true as well. And you will know by how it feels which is which to feed and be with, which to know and practice letting go. Surrender that, let it go, step away, step away. It's poison. That's it, you know. I think that's it for today. I know it's incredibly tough going. But know your value. Know it. Know it here. Know it here. Can you feel your light? Tune into your light. Know that you are an infinite being of light, of love. That you are infinite. There is no beginning and there is no end. What are you creating? What's in the driver's seat? Fear will never help us. It won't give us anything, it won't help us. Love, only love can do the trick. Only love can bring us what we need. Is the only way to navigate, in my humble opinion, and that is all there is to that, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, all my love to all of you. Bless you.